Welcome to week 2 of our Journey to India Mission Moment. Thank you for joining me once again, Pastor Catherine, in learning about ways that our church helps to make life better for people who live in India. Today, we will visit the Family Village Farm, which is a home community and school for children and adults without families and homes. Children and adults live and work together, creating a community that helps everyone. Think about it. Can you imagine what it would be like not to have your own family, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your grandma, your grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of that family that you like to do things with? The Family Village Farm was opened in 1969 by Dr. Pauline E. King for orphans and the elderly in Assam, India. That was 51 years ago, which is a very, very long time. But you see, Dr. King was really sad that there were so many children in the Assam area that had no place to live, no safe place to live, no food on their table, and that there were also older adults who were very poor and needed a safe place to stay. The children are from situations that are not very good. And remember, we talked about that last week at the Tibetans Children's Village, that some of the children had no parents, or they had one parent who was not able to take care of them, which means the parent did not make enough money to put food on the table or even provide a place for them to live. There are 10 to 12 children, a mother, and grandparents who live together in each of the cottages at the village in sort of a family type group. So even though they're not kin, they sort of make up the families of the people that live there. The mothers and grandparents living with the children are also poor and who also come from situations or conditions that are not really good. And these adults that live there provide families for the children and help to care for them while they at the same time receive housing and also care for themselves. The Family Village Farm also has a bakery which makes the fresh bread and other pastries and goodies that they can eat. They have a poultry farm, which means they raise chickens that provide food for the table as well as able to sell chickens. They make the feed mix that they feed the cattle and poultry. And they also have a dairy that supplies milk for everybody that lives in the village. The young boys are trained to tend crops and fruit trees. So I guess we could call the young boys gardeners who raise fruits and vegetables for the village, as well as fruits and vegetables that can be sold. And then the girls, they learn how to sew, so they're able to make uniforms. They make hospital linens, which are the sheets that go on the hospital beds, and they make clothing for other local schools so that the children have their uniforms. So you see, these kids in the village are taken care of. They have people that are concerned about them and love them. They have older people that are like their grandparents and also love them as well. And then we talked about the boys who are the gardeners. So you see here we have a group of maybe the young boys that live at the village, and then the girls make the uniforms. And so here's a picture of the uniforms that the girls make. The King's Matriculation School is where they go to school, and it serves not only the children in the village, but it also serves about 300 children who live nearby in other villages. And I imagine their schools are probably somewhat like your schools, where they can go and learn all the things that they need to learn. They can learn to read and write and their math and science, just like you do in school. So the boys actually are able to live at the village until they are at the age of 18. So in our country at 18, that would probably be boys that are graduating from high school. And then the girls, if they don't have parents that are still living where they can go back to live with their parents, actually get to stay at the village until they are married. So can you imagine what it's like to have basically strangers that come together, both children and adults, and they form their own families? How many of you have other people that you call grandma or grandpa that are not really your relatives, or you have others that you say are your sisters or your brothers, but they're really your close friends, or even cousins and aunts and uncles that really aren't those people, but that's what you call them because you respect them. So that's what it's like to be in the village. People coming together, having families, and having a safe place to live and able to have food on their table. So today, if we look at our Bible verse from Hebrews 11:23, it says, by faith, Moses was hidden by his parents for 3 months after his birth because they saw that the child was beautiful and they were not afraid of the king's edict. So if you remember your Bible study, if you've heard your Bible lesson, if you've heard it this week about Miriam and Moses and how Moses was hidden, well, his parents did that so that he could be safe and not be hurt by the king. And it ended up that his mother and his sister actually were able to take care of them, even though they lived with the Pharaoh's daughter. So this week, I want you to take time to pray for the adults and the children at the family village farm and the King's matriculation school, that God will protect them and that while they are there at the village, that they will continue to have a safe place to live, food on the table, and can live a really good life as they grow and learn each day. So keep them in prayer and God bless. And I will see you next week as we have our next mission moment. Good night.